All right, everybody give a round of applause for Yijun.
Thanks, everyone. And thanks to the previous two speakers. Those are really awesome agents and agent frameworks. Guess what I'm going to talk about this evening? Sorry, not agents. So I came from a company called GMI Cloud. So we are what we consider as a neo cloud. Basically, we're infrastructure providers and compute providers to all these AI agents, cool applications. We're basically building an essential cloud for generative AI and focus only on fast, simple, scalable, and secure. So we're not like this kind of traditional hyperscalers with everything packed up into a bundle. Rather than that, we only provide GPUs and necessary stacks to boost your own Gen AI applications, like agents, for example. So I believe everyone here might be able to say a word or three about agents. So how many of you guys have been trying to build an agent by yourself? I guess I forgot about a poll. Can you raise your hand? So from a cost perspective, how many of you was halted because of the expensiveness when using OpenAI APIs? Just one? Everyone's, okay. So we figured out if you want to do a very expensive deep research or doing something fancy, cost is one of the things that prohibited people from doing it. Because when you try to do experiment, you can't just burn a couple dollars per every single test, right? Especially during the development test. If your engineers or your teams is burning a couple dollars every single time when you test it, well, your build can ramp up pretty quick. And I know OpenAI is pretty happy about it, but people are trying to find other alternatives. And a lot of people will come to companies like us, what we consider as a neo-cloud, for cheaper and more cost-efficient solutions. So the way we build our, what we call an inference engine, is around 4 pillar features. The first is we will help you guys to manage your own deployment workflow easier. So we support template-based task management. We support build and development test. So these are all just standard features. The second thing is we are a company that actually buys our own GPUs and install them in our own data centers. So our optimization is from an end-to-end perspective. Like we can do BIOS optimization, then we do orchestration layer. On top of that, we'll add some software layers into that again. So we can make sure that your API that's hosted, your endpoint that's hosted on our platform will be optimized from ground to the top. The third thing is, because we are in a unique marketing, so we build our own IDCs, we have a lot of partners that have access to other clusters. So we can do global auto-scaling. So when it comes to agent development, either in US or in EU, compliance can be a very strict thing. And if you're trying to targeting the market in EU, you have to went through the GDPR or different kinds of special requirement in each local areas. So we have clusters across EU, US, and APAC area. So you have the options to specify the location you want to deploy your models, and you can have the options to specify which cluster you want to go to when it comes to actual inferencing. And of course, we offer high reliability. Fourth is probably the least sexiest, which is the active monitoring. But it's also very crucial from an engineering perspective and an infrastructure perspective. We will give you a thorough, detailed report regarding what's your GPU utilization, what's the cache hit rate, and if we can guarantee you that your traffic is being guarded safely. So our inference engine basically provide 2 standard solutions. One is what we call a serverless endpoint, basically just selling tokens. The second option is what we call a dedicated endpoint. It's where you can actually host your own models on an endpoint. You can either use your own fine-tuned model or wire your own applications until that if you need some specialized authorizations, authentications, or any other serving logic you want to put into your own into your model. We'll have the best-in-class GPUs in it or the most cost-efficient in GPU you see fit. And on our platform, creating an endpoint is super simple. So we have our SDK ready over here. Once you sign up and you have initial resource allocation, you should be able to try it out to deploy your own task, or just, for example, start a DeepSeek model by yourself on your own. using our H200 GPUs. And because you're hosting your model by yourself, this process is completely secure and safe because you have the options to determine your own data policy in your own serving script when you upload the image. And here we also support common model templates like Llama, Qianwen, or the most popular DeepSeek models. We have different versions of DeepSeek as well, so feel free to try it out. And here is a screenshot showing you what kind of auto-scaling we're doing. So because we have multiple GPUs in multiple clusters, so you actually have the option to deploy a workload onto 2 different continents, but using the same image to serve 2 different target users. Here we talk about, and by default, we integrate with a dashboard that's provided by common frameworks like VRM, SGLens, and Razor. So we have a combination of things that you can modify yourself or just use out of the box. Yeah. And so as a neocloud, our previous business is by just basically renting out containers and clusters in bulk. So most of our previous customers were model trainers, were enterprises that want a tool to manage their own resource. So we have established a very strict security features. We are SOC 2 and ISO compliant. So we have the role-based access control, RBAC, and we have data center protections on each IDCs we run by ourselves. So everything can also be monitored in the dashboard as well. So you will know if there's any breach or any machine failure in the entire process. Yeah, and here is why I came here mostly. So please sign up for, I hope you're not using an agent to read my site. It's all good, it's cool. So I came here hoping everybody that's trying to develop their own AI applications or is already developing their AI agents to sign up to become a beta testers on GMI Inference Engine. We offer limited time free access to DeepSeek models, including V3 and R1 full version. So if you're worried about your bill after a development, so feel free to come us, scan a QR code, and sign up for early access. And I can guarantee you, once we GA, we also offer a very competitive price or you can eat price. So that's kind of different from all these per token-based consumption model. And another barcode, a QR code. We're also hiring for product and devs. So if you're looking for a job or you have passion about LLM Cloud or Neo Cloud, please scan this and send me a DM. All right, thank you so much. Questions?
All right, any questions?
Hi, you were talking about decreasing the costs with your solution. Can you be maybe a little bit more specific and show us some use case?
Yeah, sure. So when it comes to hosting your own dedicated model, you basically, most of people do it from using an open source base model and adding their own fine tune, right? You can either do it through Llama or SFT. So people will have trouble trying to host them by themselves because the overall total throughput you hosted, for example, just using a torch run, is only a fraction to what you can actually achieve in the end. So there are different way of techniques. For example, we can consider from the lower bottom to BIOS optimizations. Then we can think about if you can upgrade your network or using some virtualized, for example, RDMA, if you have multi-nodes hosting. And to upper level, we have the orchestration, like once you have a small clusters, how you can maximize your GPU utilizations. You don't want any GPUs to be idle, or if you're hosting a very small model, you don't want the small model to occupy an entire node or entire cart. So that's a third layer. On the fourth layer is usually when it comes to actual software. For example, VRM is very popular, or SGLens is very popular in the dev community, but they are not optimized for the actual production use cases. In production use cases, what we do is we actually profiling the traffic and see, for example, what kind of fused kernel is the best for your specific use case. That will guarantee you the, for example, 20 to 30% performance boost. And another large source of optimization comes from the actual KV cache management. We have RDMA directly to our storage that can help you to offload the KV cache. So if you are really aware of your cost and really want to maximize your throughput, there are basically 6 layers of things that you can optimize. They're very just engineering, nothing related to your product itself. So that's what we can shine and help you build a cost-effective inference stack.
And if you put all these 6 things together, so what can be the like a percentage, cost percentage?
We're seeing easily 10 to 20%, 10 to 20 times
10 to 20 times.
through total throughput with a reasonable latency.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems good.
Yeah, especially in the age of agentic AI, I would say, because people are trying to use larger and larger context. And think about it, if you are trying to do a multi-step reasoning, you're basically pasting a lot of stuff, a lot of same stuff to the same streaming call to an OpenAI API if you're using OpenAI, for example. So there basically a lot of room for improvement and caching and basically handle the same form of incoming calls.
So if I understand correctly, so the decrease is 95% or 90% of...
That will, a lot of them.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
All right. Any other questions? Did I hear someone back there?
I see one, there.
I missed it. Where's the hand?
I see one over here as well.
So is this specifically for inference, or is it also for training as well?
This one, well, the reason why I stand here is specifically for inference. But if you have training need, feel free to contact us as well, because we also do training. So we can do either a dedicated deployment of your cluster, or we can do virtualized.
Thank you.
All right. One last one.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I just found we have some similar friend about Beta University. Yeah, Yunfei. So my question about what about between GMI Cloud different other cloud? Yeah.
Versus what? Sorry.
Can I?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. 就是你的这个 cloud.
So we are the first differentiator is we actually buy our own gear. So we build our IDC. That's why we can do a lot of network and BIOS level optimization, which not many people can do. A lot of those, what we consider as token sellers, they basically ran clusters from companies like us as well. So they only have the software layer way of optimization and don't really have the flexibility of, for example, configuring their own storage, for example, for better KV caching. So because our flexibility and the full control over our own gear, so we can basically do more comparing to other cloud providers.
All right. Let's hear it one last time for Yujing.
Thank you so much.